he's getting some free tangos out, he is still finding some form. And considering how much is being committed from WS and Jocam, the fact that he just regens back up and farms is happy enough for the side of Ivory. Like, he's above WS's farm in terms of CS. He's managing to still get some levels up, just get that slow, steady ride up. And as long as Grims isn't caught out, killing off Aizen, it will take a lot more commitment in terms of spells. Like, it's going to take maybe two spell casts to actually kill him off from, say, Power Shot plus, say, double Gush or double Anchor Smash. And catching Aizen that far forward, not going to happen too often.
The bottom lane going very well for Natsumi, all things being said and done as well. Like, considering they did skip the first creep wave with the double Iron Shells, he's had a pretty good time. Natsumi top of the CS board, not threatened whatsoever, and it's kind of the thing as well, like, this Darkseer into Prophet always can feel like a little bit awkward considering they don't care about the Iron Shell spam on the creep wave. Because this Greater Treant can just tank the creep wave anyway. Cuckoo. It'll be very annoying here towards Drick, who's copped a couple power cogs. And that's another thing as well, right? Like, for this support Ricky, sure, you get an Iron Shell placed on you, but Cuckoo probably won't care if he gets jumped by Ricky with Iron Shell, because you got battery assault cogs. You just fight back.
Yeah. Again, that's the big weakness of going all in on that Darkseer early on. Like, this Clockwork option was open, it wasn't banned out. We haven't seen it all in the Southeast Asian qualifiers, but it makes sense up against a double melee. You're a good front line to cut off the spacing for Natsumi, to just allow an NP to play a very AFK game of just farming up. Your lanes are going very well on Talon, and even mid lane, it's a little bit slower for Mikado. Ken has managed to catch up a little bit, but mid lane's not being crushed either way.
They try to jump in on Natsumi. Rupit is actually stuck here between the creep wave and the trees. And now he's in big trouble because the chase is on from Cuckoo. Rupido, he does not have any points in Surge. I appreciate the desperation of play of trying to jump in with the Iron Shells onto Natsumi, but it's just level 2 Iron Shell at this stage is not enough, and now Drick's in trouble. He'll be able to trick the trade out of there, but at this stage, this combo's already been lost for the laning stage. Like, the kind of pressure you're looking to apply as this Darkseer, it's gone.
You're not going to be able to hit those times you're really gunning for as well. At the least, you've got the Ring of Health. A Vanguard's going to come out. You can get this time to just try to build some stacks for yourself, get some steady farm, but Natsumi's gotten his game online. Power Tread's flying out, Maelstrom not too far off. All the lanes for Talon, again, looking pretty sharp. Maybe mid lane, again, just slightly favorable for Ken. They're trying to constantly poke at WS, but he's got a nice little buckler, a little bit more armor to play with. Very hard to zone out, and he cuts down the damage on Aizen once every time he comes in with the Anchor Smash. They are focusing mid a bit here.
Cam trying to snipe Ken. Actually, they've got Ken as well. Ken's just dead. Natsumi even joining in. In fact, Drick trying to play the game does take down Jocam. Has another Blink Strike ready, just needs a target and does find Grims. It's a nice little trade at least for the Ricky, but you're going to lose your mid-ember for that, and that is never going to really be good news. Because it's going to be Ken once again stuck at level 5. And chances are, Talon might try to take another life away.
I think he will. And there are some wards at least to watch if anyone's still hanging around the area. Haru?
Maybe they can hope for Makoto. There's the silence out with the smoke screen. Fear out as well. Makoto, he's unable to get away. Very nice play here from Drick and Grims, just ensuring that they had barely enough to find a bit of a revenge kill. Meanwhile, Drick narrowly avoiding the power shot that was incoming, but Cuckoo's still on the chase. Looks like Cuckoo just going to have to settle for a courier. He will not be able to find himself a real hero. And, well, that was a very important kill. Finding Makoto on that Storm, it pretty much allows Ken to actually out-level the Storm once again.
Yeah, just get some equilibrium back his way. The one big blessing for Mikado is that he did manage to pick up the regen read, so if he wanted to play fast, they could. Aizen?
Yeah, that's a bit problematic. Natsumi just easiest TP rotation. Aizen loses his courier as well. So no treads for the next minute and 15 seconds. And of course, more importantly, Jonathan, you lost your POS 1 and a Tier 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's that pacing again. You've got the Nature's Prophet on your side here. You have that leverage for push. It is providing some space for Rupido to play catch-up, right? Like, he gets a free lane. He manages to soak up level 6. He's got that Vanguard we were talking about. So he's a little bit more durable. He's not going to die to the pokes of Natsumi with his raw right clicks at the very least. And you are giving yourself some ways of hitting some spikes to play with. Like, again, the team fight of Ivory isn't too shabby. A vac wall with smoke screen on top with some chains from Ken can make a big difference when you do have the value point from the chain. But the tools are slowly coming together. Mind you, they need to do something about Natsumi. 201 on the NP, 4K net worth right now. They'll try.
I mean, they are giving it a crack. This will be a big pick-off if they can get it. Again, the smokescreen making life very hard, though. Natsumi getting in the Sprout. Will not be able to get away, but... oh my goodness, it felt somewhat close as Cuckoo now also being chased down. Should be dead. I mean, it's 4 versus 1. Eventually they'll catch him. That'll be a very nice couple of kills here, especially the kill, of course, onto Natsumi. Very important for the side of Ivory to try and secure, and they do get it.
Yeah, it feels like one of those games where they are just giving WS as much as you'd want, so they're willing to sack Natsumi a bit. Again, he's been more than willing to rotate into these fights as well. And him dying is a pretty big boon for Ivory. Again, they're getting gold, they're getting farm, they're getting good usage out from the first wall, out from Rupido. Getting that catch-up you'd want to see on the Darks here. And they're somewhat buying space out for Aizen. He is still a little bit behind in terms of net worth on DK, but catching up shouldn't be too big of an issue once he mails for himself. Natsumi heads back bot again.
Oh,
they are still here.
And more TP's coming this time. WS trying to get there in time to help out. Does have a skill point saved for that Ravage if he needs it. Shackle gonna land Ken. He's low on mana. He's out of remnants as well. Oh, Ken playing with fire a little bit too much, I think. Does get taken down. And this time, Natsumi will fight for another day. In fact, more kills coming. Brick being caught. He's got no way out. He's down. Have they seen Rupido? I think they may have. But no, Makoto doesn't quite have the vision. We'll let him go. But that's another tier 1 tower. Jonathan, in fact, it could be 2 tier 1 towers because they've all headed into the mid lane now.
We've got the output. Kuku's still in a good spot to try to scout out. Gets a nice block as well onto the camp, cutting off some of that form here on the side of Ivory. And they've got some really good forward vision. Maybe doubling up on these forwards by mid. Still.
Yeah, Drick just desperately trying to get a bit of farm and XP in while he can, but looks like it may cost his life. Though for now, he'll barely make it. Cuckoo unable to finish the job yet. The escape art saving, but no, the power shot from Joe Camp. Allowing just enough, though. In comes Rupido now with the wall drop as well to ensure that they come out on the positive end of that fight, and they certainly do. And with that Ivory now, they can go after the tier 1 mid tower themselves.
They've got the room to get that damage out. Talon not in position to defend. Again, they're happy enough to just let Natsumi farm, let WS farm as well. Like, he has not used his Ravage he's filled up. He is just going for his phase boots. Maybe looking for the blink afterwards. Once you have that initiation, gets a little bit simpler overall for Talon to kind of play. They still have control of their triangle. They've got stuff to clear out. The one thing for the side of Ivory is that even with all that room, that opportunity to push, they don't really have great pushing heroes in terms of tower damage. At least not until you get Aizen actually joining in with a dragon form, which they didn't quite fully commit to. So you do still get to hang on to these tier 1 objectives. And Talon still gets to play this farm game for Natsumi and WS. And phase boots are flying out for WS. Already has the full Vlad's up. Starting to feel pretty durable on the tide, providing some good amount of regen as well with the aura. And he did go for the Kraken Swell facet, which normally we see the Plankton Eater, the scaling up into the late game, but the shell can be quite annoying if W starts to find more and more kills and assists while spamming away Anchor Smash. This tide could be nigh unkillable if this game goes on very long, but also stacks up.
I can only imagine how stupid this could get if he does find enough kills, but... yeah, it's funny, that's for sure. I kind of want him to get a bunch of kills so I can see how ridiculous this looks as Ken. Saying we'll get a remnant away. Makoto unable to get the vortex in time. Ken's still going to hang about, of course. 12-minute power rune about to spawn up. He will smoke along with Grims. More just about denying it away from Makoto. Ken, they're going to risk it. They'll take the top. It's going to be bottom, though. Illusion Rune as well, so it's not really worth too much. They're still going to try and jump in onto Makoto. Makoto dropping quite low. He's just trapped in the wheel and does go down. A big Ravage, though, connecting onto 2. But where's the follow-up? Natsumi's trying to deal with Rupido, but Rupido's surging out of there, so instead he has to turn onto Ken, who does go down. Oh, Ken not getting the Remnant off in time. It's still not the worst fight in the world. It's a 1-for-1 on both mid laners. But Grims, he decided he wanted to make it a bit more uneven. He'll be okay though. He'll jump onto the high ground. So 1-for-1. Both mid laners dropping. I mean, it felt like you probably should have gotten away with that if you were the dire end. In fact, now they might even lose more because Makoto's back up and Drick's in the middle of nowhere. So Drick will go down. It still feels like Talon, they're finding the better end of all these fights.
That they are. I think the key factor in these kinds of trades for Ivory is you are preventing a big snowball in Makoto, right? Like his galvanized stacks keep going down. He's not getting the most plus mana regen on the Storm. However, the Soul Ring kind of compensates for that anyhow, but it is making it a little bit slow going for Makoto in comparison to his other games. The big thing for Ivory is that they are just stalling for Aizen, right? Like he's been stuck in the jungle. He has Maelstrom up. He's trying to get that farm. And he's slowly working to that point. They did force out Ravage as well, so they know they've got about a minute where you don't have to worry. Still, Rupido.
Oh, danger here, Rupido. Oh, he's there. He's gone. He is gone. Natsumi with the killing spree now. Grim's also getting caught out. Cuckoo with a beautiful setup. Boy, oh boy, it's just not getting any better, is it, John? Not for Ivory, at least. Now 4K advantage the way of Talon. I'm trying to find the brighter side, you know, like Aizen is free farming while all this is happening, so you could make the argument the DK could become a problem later on, but it's just, he's so far away from being that problem I'm speaking about. You know Talon are going to have full control for quite a while of this game.
That they will. Like, even with this DK fully farmed up, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Like, Frost Dragon's cool, right? Like, the healing reduction, the move speed slow. You might be able to try to kite around, especially on the melee heroes, while they're kind of just trying to work their way in and out of these fights. It can be quite punishing. We need to see them actually connecting team fights. And again, it's not like Aizen's ready. He needs his own Mjolnir up, trying to match that pace on Natsumi. But he is at least 3k gold behind, almost maybe around 2.8k gold behind. Caught out again.
He is. And that's not going to make you feel too much better about the Dragon Knight. That's for sure. A bit of rotations here from Ivory. They've got 3. Rupido, Ken, and Grims trying to have a gander. See if they can find themselves something for all this trouble. And Grims, they're going to see Cuckoo going through the the Twin Gates, but it won't matter. In fact, now the Torments are just going to casually be taken.
Another big gold boon coming out for Talon. Free shards for Cuckoo very early on. And feeling good about having the jetpack set to go. And another, again, big gold injection from Tormentor. I think the gold is almost insanely unnecessary. But considering it is an objective you have to contest, it's, you know, not mirrored on each side. It does need a little bit of a premium on it. But it is making the situation much worse for the side of Ivory. They do have some of the auras slowly being built up, right? Like, Rupido has the mech. He's going into the Guardian Greaves. Just lacks the Buckler at this point to have that fully up and running. The Mage Slayer on Ken can help mitigate some of the damage, especially from Mikado if he does manage to get his hits off. And eventually you're going to try to hit the shard on Drick.
Hook. Oh, it's there onto Ken, but Ken's still okay. There wasn't enough follow-up to it. WS trying to find a nice Ravage. Meanwhile, Rupido, he'll drop the wall. It looks like they've caught Ken again. Ken trying to get a Remnant out of there. Now a Ravage committed, catching 2 of them. Rupido still in huge trouble. Finally will die. Meanwhile, Ken barely escaping out. But the chase continues. Talon still want a bit more out of this. In fact, it looks like that should be it. WS, has he stuck around too long? Aizen will move in. He's a tanky boy, but not that tanky yet. Though I say that. They're doing no damage to him. In fact, Drick comes in now. They've got to get the hell out of there. In comes Makoto looking for Ken, and he's found him with the Vortex. Ken is down. They'll try for Makoto, but he just gets out. He just zips away. Drick's lost vision. Drick's still looking. Oh, he's not going to catch him in time. Does he want to try for WS? I don't think he does. Empowerment arts do land at least, but it won't matter. Instead they'll try for Jokam, but he'll just run out of it. The chase continues, but who's going to lock him down? Aizen? He'll get there eventually. The surge will ensure he gets there. But now Talon will have another fight. Cuckoo's having a look for a hookshot target. They're not going to find one.
Again, it's just a awkward set of circumstances. You're trying to poke and prod right around that rune area.
Okay, he pops the Hawk. In fact, the Vortex to start. The hook angle's not there, but it may not matter. Ken's just down. I forgot WS has the Dead in the Water shards up now, so times are tough for Ken. Rupido, speaking of tough times, he's going to drop to boot. They're still in a fight. I mean, Cuckoo, he'll get caught, but Talon, they're still ready to go whenever. In fact, it was just Makoto. So the Cuckoo kill does work out in their favor. No real punishment here from Talon. That Dead in the Water, though, from WS, it's going to make life a little bit challenging if you are Ivory, that's for sure.
And it is. You don't have an easy way of clearing it out, especially as an Ember. Ringmaster can't really right-click as fast as well. It's going to take a concerted effort to kind of clear that out and allow Ken to actually play his game. One big benefit for Ivory is that you are getting a lot of these kills on Aizen. Right? Like, he's alive, he's managed to soak through EXP, he's managed to get some even gold bonuses for himself. He's got the Mjolnir up and running. He's going into the Hurricane Pike next. Honor DK is somewhat keeping up considering the game state. He is top net worth for his team. He's matching WS's farm at the very least. Still lagging behind in comparison to Natsumi, but that is a nature's prophet. Speaking of, though, they are going into the Roshan, and they do have the damage output with that Mjolnir. Not as quick as you'd expect, but they will take it eventually. The side of Ivory do have some angles that you try to play, but it is very well protected by Talon. The wards still stand right around the ramp. Scan is there. The opportunity just isn't that clean for the side of Ivory. They're just going to have to surrender another big objective. With a secondary life up for Natsumi to kind of take some riskier plays, start to feel better and better. In fact, Mikado's looking for someone to try to respond to clear out the bot and keep that shoved in. No one going quite yet. And the pushing pace of Ivory makes it that even mid isn't really under threat. So you're not really able to get much for that Roche exchange here.
They got nothing, really. Well, Ivory, they farm a little bit while that was happening, but that's all they got. You're still seeing Drick and Rupert be annoying with the Iron Shell spam, just keeping the waves pushed out, but it's not really amounting to too much. I mean, you're up against the Nature's Prophet and the Storm. They can clear it out very quickly. Not gonna be one of those games where you can sneak in a Rax, you know? It's you haven't got the draft for that. Mid lane. So they are quite close by Aizen, but they don't see the DK. I mean, if you're Talon, you might just commit for the tier 2 top tower, considering you've got an Aegis up. You know they don't want to fight right now, or you know rather that they can't fight right now. You may as well get started.
And not much stopping them. There's this team fight potential that can come in. It's reliant on like a big vac wall with a smoke screen on top. You don't have the follow-through control to pin them down there outside of chains. Talon, though.
Oh, not Ken again. See, the issue is, once you're leashed by Dead in the Water, you're just screwed. There's a hook shot now, perfect from Cuckoo. Nowhere to escape to for Grims. It's just such a big headache for this Ember. Like, as soon as he gets leashed, it's just like, you're just dead.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's in the skill name, Mikey. You know, it's living up to it. I feel like that should have bonuses in the river as they keep chasing here.
That's a good point, Rupido. Still running. Has another surge up now, but the Vortex will land, and you've got the Rod of Atos as well. So that surge is not going to be doing too much work, as they will be able to secure another kill for Jokam. 13k advantage now. Of course, Age is still standing for another 3 minutes for Natsumi. And that just means another tier 2 tower. In fact, it might just mean a pickoff. TP's towards Drick, but Drick does continue to run, and it seems like Natsumi decides better off.
Isn't quite. WS is just running across nearby tree heroes as well. But he knows how tanky he is. He's got the blink flying out now on that Tidehunter. So the initiation with Ravage becomes a lot easier, or the follow-through with Ravage becomes a lot easier to find here. He is spotted.
Can they deal with him though? Here comes Natsumi. Oh, what a hook! What a hook from Cuckoo again. He threaded the needle that time, Jonathan. Makoto finding another. It's a beautiful hook, John. There's 3 heroes right around that hook angle, but he found.
Again, this is why I love seeing Cuckoo Clockwork. I think he's been on fire on it. It was his return here when he joined Talon, and he's looking amazing. 20-9. Ivory, again, it's another rough game. The lanes didn't go out the way they'd wanted to. This gambit with the Darkseer and Ricky hasn't really amounted to much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice attempt, but no escape for poor old Eisen. Doesn't have a BKB yet either. The BKB TP is now Drick. Has been spotted by good old Jokam. Still dusted up as well. He's got a pretty tough time ahead of him, I think, here, John. Tricks the trade onto the high ground. TP away. Oh, is he actually going to make it? He does.
Oh.
Well, isn't that just lovely from Drick? Meanwhile, Rupido, mid lane, in trouble, gets saved by the escape arts, but it's not going to matter too much unless he can run away, and he cannot. Cuckoo's in with a hook shot. Ken just needs to get the hell out. Another nice set of kills here, John. There's Natsumi narrowly TPs away.
Yeah, he has Aegis if he does die, so he's got a safety net for some of these riskier plays. I'm trying to think of what item Ivory can get, or what items they can look for that simplifies this game a little bit. The double BKB on Ken and Eisen helps. It helps just a tad bit. It doesn't feel like it's enough. It feels like there are damage issues that they can't really correct for. There's the shard up now on Drick, so the no targeting in the smoke screen can be nice. The added minus armor can maybe soften them up for the Ember and the DK, but you're playing into Tidehunter, you're playing into a very slippery Storm. You're playing into an NP who's normally not that far up front anyhow. Reaching out onto any of these heroes just seems like a tall order for the side of Ivory to try to leverage the shard spike. I'm not sure. I think, again, it just boils back to, can you actually play with Vac Wall? Can you try to maximize some of these Iron Shell combinations you've lined up for themselves? And it feels like the answers to all of that has just been no. It hasn't been able to amount to much. It's just a hard game to play. You don't have hard control. You don't have that hard hold that really utilizes Vac Wall in a meaningful way outside of Smokescreen. Even then, that's not enough.
Well, at least there is vision around this area. I say vision, it's a Sentry Ward. I was going to say, you know, at least they've got that, but with that, there's Ivory just going to play very safe by their own base as Talon. They're looking to move in again. No Ravage up for WS for 40 seconds, but dead in the water is more than enough to feel confident in locking somebody down. And Makoto's just going for a Hurricane Pike now on the Storm.
Yeah,
because
showing a lot of
not?
respect for the Ricky.
Yeah.
It's really that smoke screen, right? Like, you normally don't want to, but with a shard, they know something's going to be up. They smoke up on the side of Ivory, but jumping WS is really not what you want. This guy's so damn tanky. 19 additional damage block on his Kraken Shell, which is already at 75. You have the active of that. You have the Glimmer Cape already up as well, so magic damage won't melt through him as much. And their own Force Staff. Like, everyone's just going for the Force Staffs now on the side of Talon. This just makes sure that Ricky's useless. Like, this shard timing, whoa, wow, it's amazing, until everyone has a Force Staff. It's like, what do? You don't have hard stuns.
They can. Oh, they're going to find Ken. A perfect target to start off with, and let me tell you, John, it really doesn't take too long to deal with Ken, as now Drick also caught by Cuckoo, and Cuckoo actually did that blind. I believe that was an accident on Cuckoo's part. Won't really matter, though, because it's still going to pay off. The Centaur getting involved now, trying to stun everybody up, but there's your Ravage now, committed by WS, catching 3 heroes. However, Makoto getting a little bit low, does need to back off, but here comes Natsumi. That's the big one you got to worry about now. Natsumi just hitting away. Rupido trying to run, will not make it out. WS? So he'll get started into that tier 3 top tower on his own, basically. And he's taking no damage from this tower.
And this is only with 19 stacks in the Kraken Shell. I remember when this was a Talent, I'd see players at 40, at 60, almost doubling just the blockage. And it just gets kind of silly at that point. Ivory, I don't know. They don't have Vac, they don't have that combination. Even with the combo, again, it's looked pretty rough. The 4 stabs are starting to form up. No one's going to be annoyed by the smoke. Your damage with Aizen isn't great. Cuckoo.
Oh, they found the big one! What a Cogs pushback here from Cuckoo. Aizen, he's barely out of there for now, but no, the power shot. The execution from Jokam. Makoto, has he gone too far? Answer is no, Jonathan. He certainly has not. Another execution here as they call GG. They've had enough. So have I, Talon. 4 games, 4 wins.
They managed to get it going, and Ivory, unfortunately, again, just falling